Everyone struggles. Some people struggle to feel valuable. Some people struggle to stand up for themselves, to find their place in the world. As a kid, I never had the luxury of those struggles because as a kid, I was too busy fighting to survive. I grew up in Newark, Delaware, across the street from college dorms and fraternity houses, and every Friday night we'd have college students over for Shabbos dinner at our Chabad house. Now with college students, you never know what to expect. 10 people call RSVP, 20 will show up. Well, one week, 10 people RSVP'd and 40 showed up. I walk into the kitchen, my dad's celebrating, but my mom's nervously cutting pieces of chicken in half. And I say, guys, it's okay. I'm not gonna take any chicken tonight. From then on, I always made sure, every Friday night, to check with my mom if there was gonna be enough chicken for me. Going to the mall as a kid was always painful. We'd walk around, see everything I wanted. When it was time to go, my mother would sigh. Well, maybe it'll go on sale. We'll come back. But then I figured out a better way. We were dropping stuff off at Goodwill, and I walk inside, I look around, and I'm like, hey, Mom, there's shirts here for $3. Suddenly, I was in a place where I could afford anything. From then on, I was always on the lookout for quarters. I looked under couch cushions, jacket pockets. I took dollar bills from the tzedakah box. And when I had collected enough cash, I walked down the street and I'd shop in a place where I never had to wait for a sale. For my bedroom, I also had to figure out a better strategy. We were a big family with a small house, so 4 boys in one room, 4 girls in another. But I was getting older. I needed my own privacy. So one day, I look at our walk-in closet and I'm like, this would be the perfect place for a bedroom. So I drag a mattress in on the floor and that became my room. And you know what? I was the happiest kid in the world. I had my own room. Summer of 8th grade, desperately wanted to go to sleepaway camp, but obviously that wasn't in the budget. Why don't you get a job? My dad suggested. So I went on collive.com. I saw the classifieds for a mother's helper. This was my ticket to Camp Amuna. That summer was the best summer of my life. Every day, I finished watching the kids, I'd run to join all my friends with their activities. That summer made me realize how much I wanted to come to school in Crown Heights. I wanted to go to Beis Rivka. So 14 years old, I put my babysitting money together, and I got a one-way Greyhound ticket to New York. I show up at my friend's doorstep for the first day of school. I just asked her to stay there for a week, and my plan was that I'd find a place for myself to live. That week, I asked everybody. I asked friends, teachers, principals, people who worked behind the store and counters. I said, I'll do anything. I'll babysit, I'll tutor, I'll clean your house. Just give me a room. I need a place to live. The end of the week came. My friend was dropping strong hints that it was time for me to leave, but I had no place. So I reached out to some family friends to come for Shabbos. And after Havdalah, I'm standing with my little duffel bag by the door, and they said, hey, we'll drive you home. Where can we take you? I'm not sure. I said, I don't know where I'm going next. They took me downstairs to their basement, which was their kids' playroom. And in the back of the basement, they showed me a small storage closet. And they said, you know what? This would be the perfect place for a bedroom. And they dragged a mattress in on the floor. And for the second time in my life, I find myself living in a closet. But you know what? I was the happiest kid in the world. I had made it to Beis Rivka. At school, I was that kid who sat in the front row in every class. I never missed a Shabbaton or Farbringen. And while all my other friends were figuring out ways to ditch school, I always showed up, even when I was sick. At Beis Rivka, I tried my best to fit in, but sometimes I gave myself away. Like once, the girl sitting behind me in class reached out and touched my hair, and she said, ew, Chava, your hair is full of dreadlocks. I didn't own a hairbrush. And how could I spend money on a hairbrush when I might need it to buy a bus ticket home or to pay for a Shabbaton? So that night, I used my fingers, and for an hour, I brushed my long, thick, curly hair. And at the end of that hour, I looked in the mirror, and I was so proud, my sleek curls. Going shopping with friends in Crown Heights was always interesting. I remember a friend, we're in the checkout line. She's on the phone with her mom. Okay, Mom, I found this skirt. I really like it, $40. I'm gonna buy it. When I get home, you're gonna pay me back, okay? Okay. Huh? I couldn't remember the last time my parents bought me anything. But then, I found the gemach. This was like the free goodwill of Crown Heights, but everything was beautiful, and everything was sneeze. I felt like I was at Saks Fifth Avenue. I was a senior in high school at the time, and my 12-year-old sister was living with me. We lived in a small basement, and I paid for our rent with babysitting money. I was at the gemach, going back to school shopping. I was finding a lot of stuff: uniforms, winter coat, pajamas. Before I left, I asked the woman in charge, I said, "There's just one more thing I need. Do you have any underwear?" She froze. Next thing I know, she's pulling out a $20 bill, telling me where to go on Kingston. Her reaction reminded me that I was supposed to be ashamed. That year, while all my friends were worrying about which seminary they'd be accepted into, I was worrying about me and my sister. What would we eat for dinner? At Beiserfka lunch, there were loaves of bread at every table. And girls used to rip open those loaves, pull out the middle slices, and at the end of lunch, everything would go to the garbage. Now I figured out that if I waited till the end of lunch, when it was just me and the janitors, I could take some of the loaves of bread home. I could fit them in my backpack, and we could eat them for dinner. And when we're finished, whatever was left, I could put in the freezer, put in a suitcase, and bring home to my family. I felt so lucky to be in New York, so lucky to be surrounded by so much abundance, so much bread. I just wanted to share it with my younger siblings. After graduation, when all my friends went on to Australia, Italy, Israel, I stayed back in Crown Heights, and I got my first job. I was making $15 an hour, but I felt like the richest girl in the world. Suddenly, I could go to the supermarket, and I didn't have to buy the cheapest food. I could afford underwear and a hairbrush. And I was so proud of myself because I could even pay for my little brothers to go to sleepaway camp. And a year or two later, when all my friends came back to Crown Heights, they all got jobs too. And one day, I looked around and I realized, hey, I'm just like everybody else now. I survived. My story doesn't end with me becoming a millionaire, although I did hit the jackpot when it comes to a husband. Zacchaeus taught me what it means to be taken care of, and it's amazing. We have a great apartment across the street from 770, 2 beautiful boys, careers we love. I guess you could say my story has a happy ending. But the truth is, my story's always been happy. Looking back, I can see a childhood of poverty and neglect. But what stands out even more is strength, resilience. We are the stories that we tell ourselves. As a kid, I survived because I told myself every day that I am strong, I am capable, I can do anything. Did I go through a lot? Maybe. But doesn't everyone go through a lot? I guarantee that if any one of you got up on here stage tonight and you shared the most painful experiences of your life, I guarantee that someone sitting in the audience, that would resonate with them. They would be thinking to themselves, hey, I thought I was the only one. You're not the only one. Imagine a world where we shared our stories, how much less lonely that would be. Tonight, let's make that decision. Let's decide to share our stories. And together, we can turn the suffering of our past into inspiration. Thank you.